But when I learned more about Alastin, I was amazed. I mean, we had over 30 scientific publications at that point in time that spoke to the science of Alastin.
Mm-hmm.
And as I looked at other brands, Dr. Stevens, they don't have it.
Right.
You know, they don't have that. And so I thought it was a real great time for Galderma to come in. It was a great purchase by Fleming because it fit our portfolio so nicely.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Galderma built on science, Alastin built on science. So it was just a perfect marriage at that point in time to bring the two companies together.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Technology of Beauty, where I have the opportunity to interview the movers and shakers of the beauty business, and today is no exception. Today in the studio here in lovely Manhattan Beach, I have Jason Williams, who's come out from
Dallas, Texas.
He is the Vice President of Sales for Alastin, which, as you know, is now owned by Galderma. So welcome, Jason. It's such a pleasure to have you.
So happy to be here, Dr. Stevens. What a pleasure. I mean, this is the mountaintop of podcast, I like to say, in the aesthetic
you're so
business.
kind. You're so kind. And I've been so looking forward to this. And first of all, before we get to the wonderful product of Alastin and what you're doing, I'd like to get to know you first.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Yeah, I'm originally from Philadelphia, so I'm a huge Philadelphia Eagles fan.
Oh.
I live in Dallas Cowboy country, but I root for the Eagles, obviously, and whoever's playing the Cowboys. I'm the only one in 7 generations to leave 19002 in Philadelphia. So I'm happy as the youngest to be in Texas now. And it was really Galderma that got me out of my comfort zone in Philadelphia.
Well, let's go back. So you went to high school then in Philadelphia?
Yeah, went to high school.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to Dickinson College, small liberal arts school in mid-state Pennsylvania.
Uh-huh.
Played a little college basketball there before I dislocated my shoulder 10 times.
Ooh.
But loved it. You know, really taught me how to think, speak, and just great people there at Dickinson College.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So what was your first job out of college?
First job was Airborne Express, selling overnight air in mid-state Pennsylvania. And I started the job 2 weeks after I graduated. Didn't want to go home. And that first year I made over $65,000. I thought I was the richest man in the world, Dr. Stevens.
Well, you were.
It was a phenomenal opportunity and just loved it. And I did that for about 2.5 years and then had an opportunity to come to Galderma.
So you went directly to Galderma at that point. How many years have you been with Galderma?
I've been here, I just celebrated 25 years at Galderma.
Is that right?
Yeah, 25 wonderful years. It's gone quick. I like to usually say I started at middle school, but I kind of gave you my story a little bit there. But it's just gone quick. 25 years. So it was 1998, and we were a smaller company at that point. Obviously, we only had 60 employees. We were launching different gel, which is a retinoid, and we had like 3 or 4 SKUs of Cetaphil. That was it. Metro Gel, Metro Lotion. And God, we just went up from there.
And were you based in Philadelphia?
I was. I was an account manager in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then at what point did you make the move to Texas?
Well, I had a little stop in the Midwest at Detroit. I had an opportunity to go out there and be a frontline manager. I like to say I was the 4th choice at that point in time. I was young and dumb, but had some really strong years in Philadelphia. So I had nothing holding me back, and I said, let's give it a try. Went to the Midwest. Had 9 people on that team. 3 of those people are still with Galderma.
That's wonderful.
20 some odd years later. So it was a special time. It was a special time at Galderma. There were great people. And it was great seeing some of these people really grow and develop in their careers. So I spent about 3 years there, had 2 award-winning years there, and had the opportunity to come down to Texas to take a marketing role.
Okay.
So I said, hey, let's do it. We'll go to Texas, the big state of Texas. So it was great.
So what year did you move to Texas then?
It was
about 20 years ago?
It was about 2001.
Okay.
No, excuse me, 2004.
Okay, so
went to
right
Texas.
about 19 years ago.
Yeah, and it was great. And that time I had met my wife at Galderma also.
Okay.
She was an account manager in Sacramento. We were both single, and we met at the Triluma launch meeting in Dallas, and the rest is history. We have 3 kids. I have a 17-year-old boy, 15-year-old boy, and a 12-year-old daughter. So
that's
they
wonderful.
keep me chasing.
Do they root for the Dallas Cowboys?
No. There were times early in their career, earlier in their lives that they would root for the Cowboys, but we brushed that out for sure.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And where's your wife from?
She's from Northern California.
Okay.
Yeah.
And does she still work with Galderma?
No. She's got to take care of me.
Three.
I mean, listen.
You and the 3 kids.
Yeah. She says 4 kids. I'm the 4th kid. And so, no, with my travel, and she worked for a couple years with both kids, but now she's staying at home. And as our kids get older, I'm sure she'll get back into the game.
Interesting. Just as a side note, do you have anything to do with TCU?
Yeah, I'm not, I'm a casual fan of TCU. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you having connections?
I have a niece that just started at TCU.
Great school.
Erin and I do.
Okay.
Yeah, and she's loving it. She just started.
That's
She's
awesome.
a freshman.
She liking it so far?
Loving it.
Yeah.
Loving
Great.
it. We're going to get out there and see her in Fort Worth.
We'll take you out to a nice Del Frisco steak dinner when you're there. That's one of the top steak places in the U.S. And they say that's where the West begins, in Fort Worth. So
is that right?
One of the original Del Friscos is right there.
Okay. Well, when you went back into the marketing position in Dallas for Galderma, that was about 19 years ago. When did that switch? When did you then move back to sales?
Yeah, so as we grew and had other products come into our portfolio on the dermatology side, I went from a regional sales director to a national sales manager on the prescription side. So psoriasis, rosacea, and acne. Did that, loved that. And then around 2009, 2010, I became the head of HCP marketing for Cetaphil. And Cetaphil today is over a $600 million brand just in the U.S. So it was a great experience for me to really expand my marketing experience and learn some different things in the space. And that it was phenomenal. Like Cetaphil is a great brand. We're going to be obviously talking about Alastin here today, but Cetaphil is a big part of Galderma's portfolio. And
it is.
Yeah,
everybody knows what Cetaphil is, it seems like.
But then, we got really lucky, around, as 2013, we purchased the rights back to Restylane, Dysport, and Sculptra here in the United States. And, we just exploded at Galderma after that. I was one of the original people on the aesthetic side.
On injectables?
On the injectable side at Galderma. And, when we bought those products back, we were about $180 million. And, today we'll do $1.3 billion. So that was such a fun time in the marketplace because Galderma at that time was predominantly dermatologists. I remember when we met about 11, 12 years ago. As you took over as president and said, well, what can we do here? And Galderma was new to that scene, and you were instrumental in getting us kind of back on the map with plastic surgeons.
Well, it's been a great ride, which brings us to, well, as you know, we've had Fleming on the program actually twice.
Yes.
And representing Galderma. And then along comes the acquisition of Alastin. So take me through the acquisition of Alastin by Galderma, and from your perspective.
Yeah, it was a fantastic partnership because it was December 2021, and the purchase was made. And I had Amber Edwards and some Eric Brenner and some others come to me, and they said, "What do you think about this opportunity?" And I didn't know a ton about skincare, the physician dispensed skincare. But when I learned more about Alastin, I was amazed. I mean, we had over 30 scientific publications at that point in time that spoke to the science of Alastin. And as I looked at other brands, Dr. Stevens, they don't have it. They don't have that. And so I thought it was a real great time for Galderma to come in. It was a great purchase by Fleming because it fit our portfolio so nicely. Galderma built on science, Alastin built on science. So it was just a perfect marriage at that point in time to bring the two companies together. So to me, it was perfect timing for me to enter because they really needed someone that could bring the culture of Galderma kind of to Alastin, but not, build on the culture that they had. Because Alastin's special. I mean,
it is.
Tremendous people from Diane Goosetree to Alan to Amber. There's Wendy Johnson. I mean, Julie Adler, Cindy Fontanos. There's some great people at this company that built this. It's amazing, and you were a big part of it from the beginning.
Well, I was a skeptic initially. You may have heard when I interviewed Alan. And I was a skeptic, but it was proven to be actually valid. It really does change the quality of my skin, my own skin, not to mention all my patients, both as a pre-procedural product as well as a post-procedural product, and then a daily skincare.
Yeah, they were truly innovators at that point in time from pre and post, and we really own that space now because it's all in the science. You've heard from Dr. Widgerow, and that's what separates us, and we'll continue to do that. But also, too, at that point in time, we did about $54 million. We'll do over $110 million this year. So it's worked.
Congratulations. That's fantastic, and that's because it works.
It works.
So, the signature products we know and built around the trihexpeptide, but there's been some recent new products that have been brought out. Can you take us through some of those?
For sure.
And perhaps what their names are, what they do, when we should use them, and so forth?
Yeah, for sure. I think what has really spurred our growth is we've doubled down on the science and the innovation of pre and post. We've nurtured our good people. We spend a lot of time from a people development standpoint, Dr. Stevens, and ensuring that people are happy. We pay our people well. So the merger, not the acquisition, I heard from all those people that you mentioned how great Galderma has been to Alastin. There are a bunch of people that have lived through other acquisitions, and it didn't go that well. So we have invested in our people. We've hired more people, and it's just really worked. Now, I wanted to speak to the people, but then also the science and the innovation.
Okay.
Because if you look over the last 20 months, we continue to own the pre and post procedure space, but we've added the premium serums. Our first premium serum was HA Immerse, which is one of my favorites. I use this every morning.
It's on my face right now.
I
give my skin a drink of water every morning.
It's a high molecular weight HA, octapeptide 45, and it's just gorgeous product. It absorbs nicely, and that's everything with one of our products is that there's science, but it's easy to use. It's easy. I keep one of these. I use it every morning. I keep it in my bag when I travel. I'm on planes a lot, and I'll tell you, it just hydrates my skin so beautifully, and it's a mainstay in what we do. And again, science behind this. There's scientific publications about HA Immerse. So phenomenal product. So use it. It's something I use every day.
Okay. Now, the scientific publications, does it show increased hydration, water content of the cells?
Yeah, because it's a higher molecular weight, penetrates the skin well, and doesn't compromise the top layer of the skin. Okay. Yeah, and it's just...
And is that why we're supposed to put it on first?
Well, you put it on first is nice, but you can put it on after. I've heard Alan say, hey, as long as you're using it, that's good.
Okay.
But you can use it first, but just as long as you're doing it, that's important.
Okay.
And then, so the other product that we launched from an innovation standpoint is Illuminate. I don't know if you've had a chance to use this.
I use it on my forehead. I grew up here in Southern California, and I was a swimmer since I was, 4.
So melanocytes
and I've been around and a lifeguard and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I've had so much sun damage and solar damage to this skin that I have a lot of dyschromias. And I, thankfully, with Cyton lasers and preparing with nectar and so forth, with the BBL and Halo, I've been keeping them somewhat quieted down, but I'm prone to hyperpigmentation. So I use the Illuminate every day.
Well, and it's something, this was studied head-to-head against 4% hydroquinone, which, as you know, is considered the gold standard in melasma hyperpigmentation, but you can't use it all the time. There really hasn't been an option out there that you can use every day and see the results, but it was studied in 42 patients head-to-head against 4% hydroquinone, and what they found was just as efficacious with no AEs. So you have a product that you can dispense from your office.
Could you let everybody know what an AE is?
Adverse event, so that's...
You got that? Adverse event, AE. So there's no adverse events in the... How many people were in that study?
42 people were,
okay.
And that was...
And how long were they on it compared to...
16 weeks. 16 weeks. And that was published in the Journal of Drugs and Dermatology in October of 23.
Okay.
So again, I always like to say, we have great people. We have great supporters. We've had great sales. But it goes back to, does the product work?
That's right. And there's so much hand-waving in skincare.
Oh, and it works. And I think post-COVID, physician-dispensed skincare means more to the bottom line. As I talk through a lot of big companies and private equity in the space today, the gold standard was about 10% of your sales or in your P&L in a business was physician dispensed skincare. The new goal is about 20%. And the people that are doing it right are achieving that, because people come into your office, they want a recommendation. All the market research shows that, hey, if I got a procedure or if I had surgery or I had injectables, they say 89% of those patients want a recommendation to say, what can I do for my skin to look younger, or I have redness, or what can hydrate my skin? And that's where, recommend a product like Alastin's, like HA Immerse or Illuminate, these premium serums. Everybody that walks in the door can get one of these products.
Right.
And they're happy with it too.
Right.
So
who doesn't want better hydration of their skin?
Right.
What would be any downside to that?
Yeah, and also the HA Immerse, since I use it every day, and sometimes I get hot, sometimes I have a little rosacea, and I throw that on. It helps with my redness.
Oh, it does.
Also with the HA Immerse that I really like. But the Illuminate, I'm glad you're using it, because this is a game changer. We launched it September of last year. We're close to $6 million in sales with this product. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Did you happen to bring the vitamin C?
Oh, man, I'll tell you. We just launched this about 7 weeks ago, and I'm talking about the enthusiasm and excitement. I have to put some on right now, because this product, cosmetically, extremely elegant, and it's a radically new vitamin C.
So walk us through the efficacy and so forth. Why should we care about vitamin C antioxidants on the topical?
It's a huge market, vitamin C. There's a lot of vitamin Cs that are out there, but Alan has found that some of these vitamin Cs can compromise the skin barrier and actually cause damage to elastin in the skin. And with this, the new vitamin C is sodium ascorbate, and this vitamin C has been proven not to disrupt the elastin and collagen in the skin, and it actually help to spur elastin in the skin. So, and 14 other antioxidants, it cosmetically elegant, and it doesn't smell. Like, that's the thing. You can put this on right away, and you can use it right after you use HA Immerse, right after Illuminate. You can use them. You can use all three together if you like. I actually am using all three right now, and my skin's never looked better. But this has been a game changer, because
and it's only been out for how many weeks?
About 7 weeks now.
Okay.
And we've done over $2 million of this product.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and this is again, I want to emphasize that, we were built on science and pre and post procedures. We have the Trihex technology, we have the regenerating skin nectar, we have Reform and Repair, we have Transform for the body. Like, those are big time products for procedures, and they represent about 30% of our business. But now our daily line represents close to 70%, because that's where, as we get patients in and love our products with procedures, they want something more from Alastin.
Sure. And
we're continuing to provide that innovation to give them more.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Do you happen to know what's on the horizon? Can you share with me?
Yeah, I know. I think the thing that separates Galderma and Alastin is the innovation, and we're going to continue to come out with products in the right spaces that solve a need. Get something better for the patient. Because I think there's some skincare companies that they have like 67 SKUs. It's like, I'm confused. How can I sell all these different SKUs in the office?
What's an SKU?
It is it's a unit. Think of it's an individual unit.
A vertical.
Yeah, it's a vertical.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've sold a lot of skincare brands in your office through the years. What do you think, as you look at Alastin?
Well, I agree with you. When these companies have too many options, it becomes very confusing. And I fell in love with Alastin 6 or 7 years ago when I first started using it, when I was a patient on it. And Alastin is certainly not the only brand in our offices, but it is my number one brand. And it's based on the science.
Yeah.
Thankfully, there are some other brands that are coming along with science. I must say, I've been impressed. I think that Alastin has shown the rest of the industry that the scientific basis of skincare needs to be documented, and products need to be efficacious and proven to be efficacious.
Yeah, well stated. And I think Alastin makes it easier for estheticians and mid-levels, and obviously physicians, easier to sell in the office because you can trust it.
Yes.
You know, you can trust that it's not going to compromise the skin, and you can trust that it's going to give you the results that you need. And the other great thing about Alastin today is that consumers gain Aspire points. You know, you spend $400 in your office, your consumers get close to $50 off, or can get $50 off on their next treatment for Restylane, Dysport, or Sculptra in your office. So that's a great synergy that we have with Galderma, and we work really well with our aesthetic counterparts. It just makes sense. And also our accounts now get credit in the Aspire program. The HCPs and who are the healthcare providers, they get credit for their purchases. So there's group purchasing here that helps.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That is an added bonus. I'm glad you mentioned that. The other thing that we've been very successful with historically is a subscription aesthetic program, such that the patients, just like with your iPhone and Netflix and your car payment and so forth, if you get into a cadence and a routine with the Alastin Skincare, if you can get on a subscription, it's a very effective way, and it just comes off your credit card once a month, and you just amortize it over the course of the year. My favorite happens to be Privy, but there may be other ones, or doing it within the office itself. But budgeting that for that skincare does increase the utilization for the patient, and the more they use it, the better they look, and the better they feel. So,
yeah, I think it's the prescription model very interesting. It's something I think Galderma on a broader scale here soon is going to be looking at different options, but it makes sense, right? It really
does.
And I also think what makes sense is having your own microsite, on your account, because patients, the recommendation goes so far, as you know. I'm going to listen to what my provider says. I'm going to buy it there. But sometimes, hey, I'm going to be traveling. I might be in a vacation home. And, hey, today we buy a lot of stuff online, right? And
no question. That brings up another interesting point. I have people, friends and family and patients, who contact me and say, hey, can I buy that Alastin without coming into the office? Or can you sell that to me online, and so forth? So the microsite that was set up by Inflex Marketing and Galderma Alastin has been very effective.
Yes.
And that's another good point for the practitioners here listening and watching this. Having a microsite is very effective, because some people don't have the time to go to the office.
Right. And we do monthly promotions on Alastin.com. And again, the microsite feeds into that Alastin.com. We have QR codes where you can scan on your phone. So when a patient leaves, the account owns that patient, regardless of where they purchase. If they go directly to Alastin, that purchase goes back to that account.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and it's a huge advantage. And I'm glad that we're talking about it today, because I think we need to be more proactive with it. Don't let you work so hard to get those people in the office and work so hard to get them to purchase. To me, like, you should own that patient moving forward. So we're working really hard to make sure that happens.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I know in my practice, the Alastin sales are terrific, and we are using the microsites, as you mentioned.
Yes.
We have a microsite, and friends and family and various people access the product that way.
Awesome.
But one of the things I really want to know from you, because you have an opportunity to see all the practices all around the country, can you share with us the most effective sales pull-through and the most effective ways in which a practice can grow vis-a-vis Alastin sales? Because there's so many opportunities.
There's so many opportunities, and that's such a great question. And I think it starts with our people. First off, partner with your Alastin sales professional, because they always know the local markets. But what I see best is when people leverage the samples, the travel sizes, and then pair them with a gift, pair them with a service, and get someone into the brand up front. So, for example, most people will position, whether it's an IPL or microneedling, that's where Nectar comes into play, and they position the product into the cost of the procedure. I think that's the biggest thing. When you have it as a separate line item, people they're trying to nickel and dime, but when they say, hey, it's going to cost you $1,000 and the regenerating skin nectar is included in that, bingo, you just said how much you love the product.
Yep.
And they're going to see results. Their downtime is going to be improved.
Yes.
So when they see the results, it's a great way to position, hey, I have a travel size HA Immerse. when you come back and you're going to get this. Or, hey, you have some Aspire points, come back, get your sculpture, but then also get your restorative skin complex. So I think really bundling the procedures and leveraging samples and trade sizes are such an important way to drive revenue in the practice. And I kind of alluded to it earlier, but again, Aspire. Make sure you're entering those Aspire points, because all your purchases of Alastin in the office they can use those in coming back.
Okay.
And that's huge. You know what a challenge it is sometimes to get people to come back.
Yeah, no
question. They might say, hey, listen, the economy's a little bit tougher now. They might not want to spend as much money, or might not want to get that extra syringe that they need. But when you can say, hey, listen, you have $50, let's schedule something for November and come back and get it done. And then you can say, okay, also, here's a brand new sample of our C radical defense. And too many times people don't leverage those samples in a way for new usage.
Okay.
So those are some
tips. Are some good
best
practices tips. Any others come to mind?
I also think, we're doing a great gift with purchase, like the holiday season is really a nice package of new products that are in this really nice package. And leveraging the package to say, hey, listen, the first 25 people that make an appointment get this package. And you spend $150 and you might get another product for free. So it's really that call to action, leveraging some of the resources that Alastin Galderma gives you, and leverage that as a gift to purchase, drive to action, buy $150, get X, Y, and Z. So those are some things that I see. I mean, I'm not the expert, Dr. Stevens, I like to say, but I can tell you that our people like Julie Adler are some of the best in the business when it comes to pull through. And we have the best sales force in the business. And that's why we spend so much time and effort preparing our people to ensure that when they walk into your office, they can help you drive revenue.
That's fantastic.
And I think that's what really separates the people at Alastin. We don't have any openings right now. We have an opening and it's 6 or 7 people that want to join our team. And, we have aspirations to expand in the coming year. And it's just partnering with them is so key. It makes a big difference.
Well, that's great. Well, I want to thank you very much for coming out here and spending the time with me and with all of us here on the Technology of Beauty. I look forward to getting together with you in Dallas and you taking me to dinner.
Can't wait.
I can't wait.
Couple martinis. We'll have a nice steak. Bring Aaron. We'll have a great time in the great state of Texas. But I can't thank you enough. I love watching this podcast. It's on the cutting edge. And kudos to you to have over 100 of these is amazing.
Well, that's a lot of fun.
And you make this easy. And
well, I learned something in every one of them, and it's a blast to do it.
Yeah.
So
well, thank you for having
wonderful.
me.
Thank you for coming. And thank you all for joining us on this episode of the Technology of Beauty, where I have the opportunity to interview the movers and shakers of the beauty business. And as you saw today with Jason, today was no exception. We'll see you every Tuesday with a new episode. Take care.